the camera some. Man, come on in, come on in. Let me give you guys a minute before we get started. What's up, family? What's up? Man, just want to say a couple things real quick. Um, man, we're on our series of self-love. Self-love, we'll be on self-love for several days. Today we're talking about shame and forgiving self. Tomorrow we'll go into healthy boundaries, or the next day we have a video come out. It'll probably be Tuesday that we'll have a video come out, and it'll be healthy boundaries. And then Wednesday we'll conclude it with, again, we're talking about self-love, but we'll be talking about moving forward. Again, so today we're on a three-day series on self-love. Today is shame and forgiving self. What's up with you, Kendra? Man, and then the next day that we have a video come out, which will be Tuesday, midnight Tuesday, Eastern Standard Time. That'll be what's up with you, David. That's going to be talking about healthy boundaries. And on Tuesday at midnight, we will be talking about, again, self-love, but we will be talking about moving forward, how to pick up the pieces, how to move forward in life. You know what I mean? Today, shame and self-forgiveness. You know, it's a trip because shame, man, it messes up so many of us. You know what I mean? Shame and just that we have this self-hatred and there's just this pain and struggle, that silent war that we're going through with shame. You know what I mean? And you can't love yourself being full of shame. You know what I mean? What's up with you, Paul? Man, and there's a movie that I love, and you guys have heard me talk about this movie a lot. Man, if you haven't seen it, you have to check it out. It's What Dreams May Come. What Dreams May Come, Robin Williams, my favorite Robin Williams movie of all time. Um, what dreams may come. And the story, the plot of the story, it starts out with this family, Robin Williams, his wife, and they have two kids, and they have a nanny that works with them. And the two kids ask their mom, man, can you drive us to school? And the mom is like, no, I'm busy, pretty much. And she has the nanny take them in the van, and they get killed in a car accident. And so the mom is living with this, man, this shame and this unforgiveness. She hasn't been able to forgive herself because she was so busy she couldn't drive her kids to school. And in her mind, had she driven her kids to school, they wouldn't have died. And so she's carrying this pain and this struggle, and she don't know how to quite live. She don't know how to quite pick up the pieces. The shame of losing her kids, the shame of having to bury her kids at an early age. And so she's not able to forgive herself. She's struggling and she's losing her mental capacity. She's losing her mind and she's lost her mind to the point where she's tried to commit suicide. She's checked into the mental institution and she's having to work her way back. And she's still struggling with the fact that she lost her babies. Man, I've never been in that situation. I've never lost my kids, so I can't comment on that pain and that struggle. I can't say, man, you should be able to just get over it just like that. I would never say no stupid stuff like that. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to understand her pain, her loss. And the fact that she can't forgive herself because her kids should be here. And most parents, all parents, we have this mentality, we have this thought process that our kids are going to bury us. We're going to die before our kids do. But if something should happen and our kids go before us due to our negligence or due to something that we didn't do or something we should have done, whether we could have stopped it or not, we tend to blame ourselves. And so the mom had this self-blame. And so the movie goes on. Robin Williams is a great spouse, right there helping her through it, trying to bring her back through. When she's at work, she comes back and she's living. She's trying to pick up the pieces. And Robin Williams is her rock, helping her make it through this crazy, chaotic, painful time in her life, where she's tried to take her life. She lost her mind. She couldn't cope with losing her kids. So Robin Williams, she's calling Robin Williams. She's frustrated. She's stressing out. And man, you can see it on her face. You can hear it in her voice. Man, she's having a panic attack. And if she doesn't get help, she's going to lose it again. So she called Robin. And he's talking to her. And he's calming her down. You know what I mean? And he's letting her know it's okay. I got you. And man, he jumps in his vehicle. And he's coming to do some stuff for her. And to come see about her and get some stuff to her. And in the process of doing some stuff for his wife, he too gets killed in a car accident. And so now she's gone. She's buried her babies due to a car accident, due to a decision that she made. And now her best friend, her rock, her ace coon, he's gone. The one thing that kept her alive. The one thing that gave her hope. The one thing that brought her back from despair. Now he's gone. He's gone. And she can't handle it. She couldn't forgive herself. She couldn't forgive herself for her kids. And now it's as though God hates her. Now it's as though God is punishing her. Now it's as though God has a vendetta against her. And she can't comprehend it. She can't cope with the pain. She can't cope with the fact that she's lost everything she's loved. And many of us, due to mistakes, due to our own mistakes, due to the decisions that we've made in the past, we carry such shame. Due to decisions we've made in the past, we carry unforgiveness because we messed up and it's cost us some stuff. We messed up because maybe somebody got hurt. Maybe I messed up a good relationship. Maybe I cheated on somebody that I should have never cheated on. And I lost everything. And so now I'm living with the fact that I can't forgive myself. Whatever the reason that you can't forgive yourself, whatever the reason you're carrying your shame, man, I'm making this video today because I want you to understand that there's hope. There's hope for you today. You don't have to continue on down this path of suicide. You don't have to continue on this path of depression and self-hatred and tearing yourself down because you can't understand the pain and the trauma and the turmoil. There's hope for you today. And so we have to understand what is the lesson in all of this. And it's a trip because the other day, my queen and I was sitting there and was watching this movie. And I'm going to make a video about this movie all by itself. But the movie is another great movie. I was watching it on Netflix. Father Stu. Father Stu. Check it out on Netflix, right? And so this guy, him and his father, his mom, and his little brother. They live in Montana. And so at the age of 6, his younger brother goes to sleep and just dies. Just dies. Nobody knows why he died. Nobody can understand what happened to this baby, 6 years old. He didn't have no sicknesses. He didn't have no ailments. Man, nothing tragic happened to him. He just went to sleep and didn't wake up. And so now the brother is like going through it. Not only is the brother going through it, man, his father is going through it. His mama is going through it. And it messed up the whole family. And everybody's carrying this shame. Everybody's carrying this grief. Everybody is carrying the trauma of the loss of this little boy. Father Stu, the main character, as a young boy, he's trying to get his daddy's attention. And his daddy's there, but he ain't there. His daddy's there, but he's been traumatized and hurt and broken because he lost his baby boy. And so now he's blaming himself. How come I couldn't protect my baby? That was my baby. How come I couldn't protect him? And so his other son is crying out for daddy's attention, and daddy can't give it to him because daddy's focused and fixated on the fact that he lost his baby boy. It ain't got nothing to do with Stu. It's the simple fact that he couldn't get past his brokenness. He couldn't get past his hurt, his shame. He had to bury his 6-year-old son. And he didn't know how to cope with that. And so he started drinking, and he eventually left his wife and his son and moved to California. Mom was there raising her son Stu. But she was kind of absent too because she lost her baby boy, she lost her husband, and now she ain't really focused on her son. Nobody believes in God anymore. We're talking about shame and forgiveness. Stay with me. Nobody believes in God anymore. Why? Because they've been hurt so bad. And so now everybody's carrying this shame. And so Stu grows up and he becomes a boxer. It's a true story. He grows up and he becomes this boxer. And all his fights was him fighting against God. All his fights is, I don't want the pain because I'm mad because my baby brother died. And he's hurt. And he's angry and pissed off. He's mad because his daddy left him. He's mad because his mama don't really pay attention to him. And everything he's done, he's fucked up. Everything he touched in life, he's fucked it up. And so his daddy used to tell him, man, I can't even remember the word that he called him. Man. Basically, it's just like he was a degenerate. He was a degenerate. And that's what his father used to call him, was a degenerate. And so he didn't get the acceptance from his father. He didn't get the love for his father. So he had this hatred for his daddy. He had this hatred for God. He had this animosity towards his mom. Because nobody showed him the love that he needed as a little boy. Because they're all broken and frustrated and catching their own hell. They're all dealing with trauma in their own unique way. And so he's not able to forgive his mama, his daddy, his brother for dying, and God. He's mad at himself and blaming himself. He's blaming himself that his baby brother died. He's blaming himself that his daddy left. And so he grows up. And he's a boxer, and he's fighting, and he's winning, knocking out people. He's getting beat up, and he's going through it, right? All his relationships failed. Because he had anger issues, because he was messed up emotionally. What's up with you, Wahid? And so he's twisted. And so he goes to the doctor, and they tell him, man, you got something going on in your jaw. You're going to have to hang up your boxing career. If you get hit again, it may kill you. And so he's struggling because the only thing that he was good at was fighting. The only place he felt at home at was in the boxing ring. And that's us right here. That's so many of us. Man, the only place we feel comfortable at is when we're battling. When we're in the middle of a war. When there's chaos around us, we feel comfortable. When there's turmoil and crazy shit happening all around us, man, we're comfortable. And it's almost as though, man, we thrive on the chaos. We rise to the occasion for the chaos. We need the chaos. We feel at home in the chaos because that's all we know. That's all we know. And so the story, father student, the story goes on where, man, okay, I can't fight no more. That's all I know how to do. I've never done anything else. I have no other skills, no other traits. All I know how to do is survive. And that's many of us. All we know how to do in life is survive. We've never learned how to live. We've never learned how to truly love. We've never learned how to thrive. All we know how to do is survive. And so he hangs up his boxing career. Man, he's a grown man. He's in his 20s now. I'm going to move to California and I'm going to get into acting. Everybody wants to come to Southern California and become an entertainer. Everybody wants to come to California with hopes and dreams and been discovered and break in to the acting industry. So he goes out there and he sees his dad. Gets his DUI. He's just catching him. That's all he's ever done was got in trouble. He sees a young lady. And he's smitten by her. He's attracted to her. Not like any of the other women he slept with in the past. This one, there's something different about her. This one, there's something peculiar about her. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And so, man, she's all into church. She's Catholic. And she's all into religion. This guy's an atheist. He was raised an atheist by his mama and daddy because God killed his brother at the age of 6, according to the family. But he sees this young lady and he wants to holler at her. And she tells him, the only way you could talk to me, man, you got to come by the church and be active in the church. You got to get baptized. And so this guy who don't want nothing to do with God, this guy who don't want nothing to do with religion, because of his unresolved issues, he's so attracted to this young lady. It's like, all right, bet. Starts coming and helping out in Sunday school. He goes and he gets baptized. And his father's asking him, are you serious? Are you serious? You want to get baptized? You're going to church? You're an atheist. We don't believe in God. But he goes through with it anyways. And so he's attracted to this young lady. Everything's working out for him. Him and the young lady are getting closer and closer. He loves her. He's given up drinking for a long period of time. Something happens. And this is what happens to a lot of us. Something happens in life. And we can't understand it. And we feel as though God has cursed us. We feel as though God has turned his back on us. Next Saturday, we're going to have the live stream next Saturday is Cursed by God. Or crushed by God, crushed by God. And we're going to talk about how some of the things that we go through that makes us feel like God don't give a fuck about us. We're going to talk about some of the things that we go through in life where it feels like God has turned his back on us. God doesn't love us. He loves everybody else but us. And so we don't believe in God anymore. We ain't got time for God anymore. That's what we're going to talk about next Saturday on our live stream at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 10 o'clock a.m., put it that way. And so he's going through all these changes, and he's struggling because he's at this war. He has all this blackness behind him, all this pain, this shame, and this trauma that he hasn't learned how to deal with. He has all this unforgiveness. He's never forgiven his daddy. He's never forgiven God. He's never forgiven himself. He's never forgiven his mama for his baby brother dying. And so he's a drunk. His father's a drunk. So he's giving up drinking for a while for this young lady. Something happens. He goes to the bar. And he starts drinking. That's what we do. Something happens in life. We want to change our life. We want a better life. But then something happens. And we go back to what we're comfortable with. We go back to what we're familiar with. And so many of us, we go back to toxic ass relationships. So many of us, we go back to toxic ass jobs. So many, we go back to slinging dope. We go back to walking the streets and selling our ass. Why? Because that's comfortable. I know how to do that. I know how to survive. If I can't do anything else, I can survive. And so he's drinking. And he leaves. Bam! Gets in a car accident. Goes flying off the motorcycle. Hits the road and rolls a while. And if that wasn't bad enough, a couple of cars actually run over him. And there, he has a close encounter with God. So many of us, we would look at that, and that would be evidence. That would be confirmation that God doesn't care about us. What's up with you, Steve Love? That would be confirmation that God has turned his back on us. It would be confirmation that, man, if we don't have bad luck, we ain't got no luck. And so this guy who has all this shame and he's just an embarrassment to his family because all he's ever done was get arrested for drinking and driving, just a whole bunch of stupid stuff. He sees a young lady and he's trying to fall, he falls for her. And he doesn't know how to change his life yet. He's at that fork in the road. And so he has this thing, man, I'm going to become a priest. He has this notion that he's going to be a priest. And he struggles with this for a while. Man, how do I become a priest? I don't know anything about church. I don't know anything about religion. And at the truth, I don't even know if I believe in God. I don't even know if I like God. And he's struggling. And so when you look at the documentary, his documentary, it talks about how he struggled with that for years before he finally made the decision to go ahead and do it. And so he's now in the church. And he's doing it. He's going through the process of becoming a priest. And there, he meets a couple of guys and befriends them. Now, he's getting close to quote unquote graduating and being ordained by the church as a priest. And he falls down. And somehow they take him to the hospital and the doctor tells him that you can't. You got a disease that, man, it's not curable. You're going to continue to lose your strength of your muscles. You're going to continue to lose control over your body. So this guy's sitting there and he's broken. He's broken because he's made up his mind. I can't be with this girl if I become a priest. And so he lets the love of his life go. He chooses God over this girl. And now the doctors are telling him, you're going to get to the point where you won't be able to walk. You're going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to use the bathroom by yourself. You're going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to be by yourself. And so this young man, he's broken. And he's so mad, and he's catching hell. And it's as though God has never forgiven him. It's as though God is still mad at him. God is still angry at him. But he stays faithful. He continues on in the church, trying to become a priest. And he's slowly but surely losing control over his muscles. And he can't do what everybody else is doing. He can't do what all the other priests are doing. And so the bishop calls him and says, man, we're not going to be able to make you a priest. We're not going to be able to give you the ordination because of your disability. And so he's mad and he's broken again. He's laid out in the church at the altar crying out to God. The shame of all his stuff, of his past. The shame of all the things he's done in his past life is coming back on him. And then the documentary talks about, man, all those things was going through his head. As he's struggling with, man, God don't even accept me. I've messed up too much. I've messed up my life too much. My daddy told me I was degenerate. My daddy told me I wasn't no good. My mama always kept telling me that I was just gonna mess up my life and I was wasting my life. And here, God is telling me that I'm no good. Because I'm trying to be a priest just to worship him. I've given up sex. I've given up alcohol. I've given up the love of my life. I've given up everything to be for God and to worship God and to be a priest in God's house. And God has struck me down with this debilitating disease. And so he's crying, and he's broken, and he's frustrated. Goes back home to his mama in Montana. His dad takes him back out there. And eventually, the church changes his mind and allows him to continue on, and they ordain him as a priest. And I talk about that story, and I'm bringing up that story because look at what this man went through. Of not being able to forgive himself. Of not being able to forgive other people. The shame of coming from a broken family. The shame of his daddy not loving him. His daddy not accepting him. The shame of everything he touched, he contaminated. And so we're talking about self-love. And it's hard to learn to love yourself when everybody around you don't seem to love you. It's hard to learn how to value yourself and to let go of your mistakes when everybody around you is constantly pointing out that you're a failure and you're a screw-up. And as that, you're a degenerate. You're an embarrassment. You're embarrassing me. You embarrassed your mama. And so he struggled with, man, I can't let that go. And many of us, we slept with people that we should have never slept with. And we're stuck with that regret. We're stuck with that shame. Many of us, if the truth be told, we've cheated people out of things. We've taken things that didn't belong to us. We slept with other people's women, other people's guys. We've done some stuff that we're not proud about. We've done some stuff that we're kind of embarrassed about. We've done some stuff, man, we don't want nobody to find out about. And so that eats at us. And it's killing us from the inside out. And truth be told, for the longest time, and I shared with you guys, man, how my father murdered my mom when I was 2. And for the longest time, I hated my mama. For the longest time, I was mad at my mama. And you know what? 53 years old, and it still hurts me a little bit to acknowledge that. That still hurts my heart to this day that I was mad at my mama. I blamed my mama for dying. I blamed my mama for doing something to make my daddy go to prison. My daddy was abusive. My daddy rejected me. My daddy had anger issues. My daddy murdered my mom in cold blood, stabbed her 49 times because she wanted to leave the relationship. And as a little kid, I blamed my mama. I was mad at my mama. I hated my mama. As I got older, I never talked about Mother's Day. I never celebrated Mother's Day. Even as a little kid, we always had, like, especially in the middle school, in elementary, you have like arts and crafts, different things. You make pictures and stuff you draw for Mother's Day and crayons and all this. I never did that shit. Never. Because I hated my mama. I was mad at my mama. I blamed my mama because my daddy was in prison. One of the hardest things for me to learn, how to forgive myself for hating my mama for so long. For so long, I hated my mom. Now, I had an issue with women. Growing up, women couldn't tell me shit. I had this hatred for women. I needed them because I'd been molested as a little kid, as a 6-year-old boy. So I needed women in my life to sleep with. Why? So that I could prove that I wasn't gay. But I had no respect for them. None. Because I hated my mama. Because I blamed my mama for dying and for abandoning me. I blamed my mama for my daddy being in prison. And so you've heard me talk about my mom quite a bit. Why? Because I have so much love and compassion for her. I miss her so much, because that comes from the fact that for years, I hated her. And I didn't know how to forgive her. I didn't know how to forgive my mom. And then as I got older, I was in my 40s. In my 40s. Before I forgave my mama. In my 40s. She died when I was 2. For 40 fucking years, I held onto this hatred and this unforgiveness of her. And I never really understood why my relationships didn't work. thought I was just cursed like my daddy, cursed like my grandpa, cursed like my great grandpa, cursed like my uncles. But God had to show me, Elijah, you hate your mama. Elijah, you have this hatred towards your mama because it broke your heart when she died. You have this hatred towards your mama. And because you have this hatred towards your mama, you have this hatred towards women. And your hatred towards women stems from the fact that you have hatred and unforgiveness towards your mama. If you're ever going to be better in life, if you're ever going to be happy in life, if you're ever going to reach your full potential, you're going to have to forgive your mama. And then you're going to have to forgive yourself. And the truth is, I learned to forgive my mama, but I couldn't forgive myself. I hated myself for hating my mama. I was mad at myself for hating my mama. It broke my heart that I spent so much time hating my mama. 40 plus years of hating my mama. Then God showed me, Elijah, you gotta forgive you. That's good. You forgave your mama. That's good. You forgave your daddy. That's good. You forgave those guys that molested you. That's good. You forgave your auntie for the way she raised you. You forgave your uncle for being abusive and beating the shit out of you. That's good. You forgave those people for how they treated you. But now you got to forgive yourself. Now you got to stop carrying that shame. I had so much shame. I was so embarrassed. I know this doesn't come across as much when other people have done other things. You know, you're carrying shame for different reasons. You're carrying unforgiveness for different reasons. And it may not be much to you. It's just my story, my pain, my struggles. How trivial they may sound, how crazy and stupid they may sound. I hated her. I blamed her. And then I forgave her. And I took all that hatred and put it on me. All the hatred that I had towards my mama and my daddy. I directed all of that on myself. Scorpio lady, what's up with you? Man, long time no hear from. I'm glad you're here. I hated myself because I'm my mama's only son. I'm my mama's oldest child. And I hated her. I was so embarrassed that I hated my mama. I was so ashamed that I hated my mama. Even today, when I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes. How could I hate my mama? How could I be so angry at my mama? And that had me so fucked up. That had me so twisted. I could forgive anybody and everybody else. My oldest kid's mom. I found myself raising the two kids by myself. No help from her whatsoever. She paid no child support. She didn't send them nothing for their birthdays, holidays, nothing. Nothing. I hated her. I hated her. because she was a reminder to me of my mama. And I never wanted my kids to have to go through the fucking life that I went through. I never wanted my kids to have to grow up without their mama in their life, because I know that pain. I knew that brokenness. And now, my two babies are being raised without their mama, because she chose not to be in their life. And that pissed me off. That fucked me up. How can somebody be so fucked up in their head the way they have babies, especially a mama? How can you be so fucked you kick your kids to the curb and don't have shit to do with them? And that was coming from my hurt and my pain, because I didn't have my mama. And so I had to learn to forgive myself and understand, man, I was hurt. Hurt people hurt people. I didn't grow up in an atmosphere of love and compassion. I had to learn love as an adult. Because my whole first part of my life was hatred, unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, animosity, and hatred. And the fucked up thing about it, I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. And I never experienced love. I grew up in the church, and I never experienced acceptance. And so I hated myself. Even as a little kid, when I got molested as a 6-year-old kid. All I wanted to do was worship God. And maybe that's why Father Stu, the story, man, that's why it resonated so much with me. Because as a little kid, I'm crying out to God as a 6-year-old kid. God, I'll serve you. God, I'll go anywhere you want me to go. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And the next week, I was molested in the church. The week before, I pleaded with God. I promised God, I'll go anywhere, do anything for God. And then he allowed a guy in the church to molest me. And then the week after that, another guy to molest me. I was taught to hate me. I was taught that I wasn't lovable. I was taught that I wasn't redeemable. I wasn't redeemable. I wasn't valuable. I wasn't worthy of love. My daddy didn't love me. My daddy didn't accept me. My mama died, and I blamed her for dying. My auntie raised us, but all she ever did was tell us how stupid and dumb we was, and how she couldn't wait for us to grow up and leave. And how we had the devil in us and was going straight to hell, or I'd end up in prison for the rest of my life like my sorry daddy. So I was taught to hate myself. I was taught that I wasn't shit. And so it was easy for me to hate myself. It was easy for me not to forgive myself, not to love myself, not to value myself. Because after all, even as a young adult, when I got married to my baby kid's mom, and our relationship failed. And I was left raising the kids. And then when I got married again and had 3 more kids, and she left and took the kids. It was just confirmation to me that I wasn't shit. And so everybody in my life told me and showed me that I wasn't shit. And so, how do you learn to love yourself when everybody in your life is telling you you're not worthy? When everything that happens to you in your life is showing you you're not worthy. You don't deserve love. You deserve the pain and the hatred of the world. That's what I grew up believing. That's what I believed. And so it was hard for me to change my mind about that. See, it wasn't some preacher, it wasn't some Christian, it wasn't some great teacher that came into my life and told me and showed me that I was worthy of love. Nah, it was none of that. And because I was taught the hate, the anger, I had no healthy boundaries. I had no self-love. I hated the whole world. I hated the whole world. So it was easy for me to have a victim mentality. It was easy for me to say, man, fuck the world. Nobody cares about me. Nobody has ever cared about me. It's easy for me to say that. And it was easy for me to say that. And it was easy for me to believe that based on my life experiences. All the way up until 2015. See, in 2014, I was 44 years old. And my only brother died of colon cancer. And then the next year, my wife had died of breast cancer. All the way up until then, I thought God hated me. God had fucked my life up from the time I came into this world. God has never wanted to see me happy. And when I finally find somebody, man, that I'm compatible with, somebody that I love and I'll do anything for, and man, he struck her down with cancer and took her away. So it was easy for me to wallow in that pity, wallow in that hatred. Of giving the world and God the middle finger. Because nobody ever showed me how to love. Nobody's ever showed me how to value my life. And so I'm making this video, pleading, begging, hoping that you understand that you are loved. You are lovable. You are worthy of love. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of having a healthy, loving, successful life. You're worthy of that. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care how many relationships you fucked up. I don't care how many people you've hurt. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of a beautiful life. I'm living proof. I'm a walking testimony. I'm a walking witness. One of the things that I had to go through, one of the things that God took me through, I need to get some water, was I had to go through this process called NoFap. 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 No fucking or porn. No jacking off, masturbate, nothing. No woman in my life. And so here's the trick. When my late wife passed away in December 4th, 2015, when she passed away on that day, that was the first time I had been alone. My oldest daughter was born in 1990. Prior to that, I was with her mom for a year or two before she was born, but I've always had girlfriends. I've always had a woman around me. And when I didn't have girlfriends, by that time, I had my 2 kids. I had my 2 babies. And I spent about almost 9 years struggling as a single parent, raising 2 babies. Got married again, had some more kids, got divorced. Still raising my 2 babies. And so, 2015, December 2015, I found myself alone. All alone. My kids were gone. My 2 oldest kids were grown and gone. My babies were with their mom. And I was alone. I had never been alone. I didn't know how to handle being alone. I was so mad and angry at God because I was alone. And what God was showing me, well, you got to go through the process of learning to love you. You have to go through the process of learning how to let go of the shame, how to heal the shame, how to forgive yourself. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be fulfilled if I don't take you through this process. I know it hurts you. And see, I've always had women around me. And I've always had women around me. Why? Because that made me feel accepted. And so I always had these toxic ass fucking relationships. Because even a toxic relationship, it was better than being alone. Because when you're alone, man, nobody wants you. Nobody finds you worthy to be in a relationship with. So I always kept this dead weight around. I always kept these trifling women around. Because at least I wasn't alone. At least, for whatever reason, they found some value in me. And so, at the end of 2015, I'm alone. I'm alone. And I'm terrified. I'm scared to death. I was 45 years old. And I had never been alone. 45 years old, and I had never lived alone. 45 years old, and I've never spent time with myself in the capacity of understanding who I was. 45 years and never spent the time to really understand my traumas and how they were affecting my life. 45 years old. And I remember the day after my wife died, her best friend was there. And she told me, she said, man, I told Cecilia I'll stay to make sure you were okay. See, because the day that my wife passed away, my last conversation with her, she told me she saw my mama. And my mama told her to come back and tell me that she loved me and she was proud of me. And that fucked me up. That made me so angry, so hurt, so full of rage. Because how come my mama couldn't tell me that herself? How come my mama didn't love me enough herself to appear in one of my dreams and tell me that herself? I've been praying and asking God for years. Could I hear my mama's voice one more time? Could I see my mama just one time? Could I see her smile? Could I hear her voice? Could I just give her a hug just once? For years I pleaded and paid God for that. And now my wife is dying and she's never met my mama. My wife was born after my mama had died. 2 years after my mama died, my wife was born. They never met. Now my wife is dying. And my mama appears to her and is telling her to tell me that she loves me and she's proud of me. For years, I would go to her gravesite and I would stand there and fall on my knees, just crying and just soaked up in tears and sweat, just pleading with her, man, just say something to me. Mama, are you proud of me? Mama, do you love me? Mama, what do I do? And what do I'm pleading with the world, pleading with God, my mama. Man, I just want to hear her voice. I just want to know she loved me. And she chose my wife at that time to tell me that she loved me. See, I hadn't dealt with my anger yet. I hadn't dealt with truly forgiving up to that point yet. I had a lot of shit that I carried with me. I was fucked up from the gate. And I never realized how messed up I was. I never realized how damaged I was. I never realized how broken I was. I never realized how fucked up I was. And so, when my wife died, I took a gallon of Fireball. And all the family was coming over. Her mom, her family members, her friends. They were all coming over to see her body before the mortician came and picked her up. And I'm walking with this gallon of Fireball, just taking swigs. Drunk half the gallon. And everybody left. And I passed out. And her friend stayed in the other room to make sure that I was okay. To make sure that I didn't try to kill myself. And I got up the next day, walked outside, and I was crying. And I was so lost. I was 45 years old, family, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do in my life. I was 45 years old, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do next. I didn't know how I was supposed to continue on. I had no purpose. No guidance. Supervisor was supervising over 25 people. I was okay when it came to my job and my career and all that other stupid shit. But as far as my life, I was fucked up. I didn't know what to do. I had never been alone. And that was terrifying. I knew I didn't want nobody around me. My kids came. We had the funeral. They stayed until January. And then they all went back home. In January 2016, I'm alone. And I'm lost. I grab her ashes, jump on the plane, and I land in China on March 7th, her birthday. And my goal, I'm gonna go around China and spread her ashes. Because that was a dream. Both of us love martial arts. Both of us love the Asian culture. And so I wanted to just spread her ashes all over China. And everywhere I went, for the first 2 weeks there, I spent 3.5 months in China. And for the first 2 weeks, all I did was travel the entire country and just spread her ashes everywhere I went. And then if the truth be told, I tried to kill myself. I tried to die because I was so broken. I was alone. I don't like being in crowds. And here I am in China, the most crowded nation in the world. My friend, my Kung Fu brother, he went home in the evening. I went upstairs in the temple to my own room. There they fed me and took care of me. But I couldn't really communicate with them because all they spoke was Chinese. And I couldn't understand the language. And after my brother left, I was all alone in the room. I couldn't watch TV because it was in Chinese. I couldn't listen to the radios because it was in Chinese. Nobody to talk to. In a country with almost 2 billion people and nobody to talk to. Nobody to understand me. And I wanted to die. And I tried to die. If the truth be told, I tried to die. Because I was so full of pain. So full of shame. And anger. And hurt. And the trip is, many of us were too proud, too scared to acknowledge the fact that we've gotten to the point of wanting to kill ourselves. Most of us, we never want to acknowledge that we've gotten so hurt, so fucked up in life to where we want to take our own life. Because that comes across as being weak. That comes across, you're emotionally unstable. And so I carried that shame of wanting to kill myself, of trying to kill myself. But God, there in China, after the 3rd month, I was given a vision, a purpose, and understanding. Life-Changing Results Academy. Life-Changing Results Academy, small business that I have, of helping people heal and deal with their trauma. A place where people can consider it a sanctuary. They can learn about Kung Fu, about meditating. They can learn about animal husbandry, how to raise rabbits and chickens and goats and pigs and all these other different things. How to grow a garden. How to reconnect with nature. How to grow your own food. How to deal with the pain and the suffering of your past. So there in China, the 3rd month, I was given the purpose of my life. There in China after I tried to die. And they were watching me all night to make sure that I made it through. God gave me my purpose. He showed me why I was here. And so I began to understand, man, I gotta let this stuff go. And it was a trip because once I understood my purpose, I was able to see why I went through all that I went through. And that made my purpose that much more clear, that much more meaningful. That's why I'm here. To help others. That's why I went through all the shit that I went through. To help others. Because the truth is, you may not have gone through what I've gone through. I may not have gone through what you've gone through. Our circumstances may be totally different. But a lot of us carry grief. A lot of us carry pain. A lot of us carry trauma. A lot of us carry shame. A lot of us have this unforgiveness for ourselves. And so, the more I started helping other people. And sure, I didn't even want to help adults. I just wanted to help kids. I just wanted to help kids. Because my childhood was so fucked up. My childhood was so fucking devastating. If I could help these kids, I could redeem myself. If I could help these kids, I could make up for all the shit that I've done wrong. That was my thought process. I have to redeem my life. And I redeem my life by helping others, by helping these kids. And the more that I helped them, the more I saw me in them. The more that I helped them, the more I was helping myself. The more that I taught them, the more that I was teaching myself. And then I started helping adults. And the more that I helped them, the more I helped myself. The more I talked to them, the more I helped them and gave them a different perspective of something that they've gone through. God did the same thing with me. He gave me another perspective of something else that I went through. And so we help each other. And as you help each other, you help yourself. As you help others heal, you help yourself heal. Man, as you help others learn to forgive, you teach yourself how to forgive. And for many of us, man, forgiving other people is easy. Forgiving ourselves is unthinkable. It has been unthinkable, unattainable, because of how we saw ourselves. Because we saw ourselves as a fuck up, as a screw up, as a degenerate. But as you see yourself being this loving, helping being, you start seeing yourself as being, man, I'm worthy of forgiveness. I'm worthy of love. You're worthy of forgiveness. You're worthy of love. Nobody is perfect. Your mother wasn't perfect. Your daddy wasn't perfect. The love of your life wasn't perfect. Your teachers wasn't perfect. Your aunties, nobody is perfect. We all have some form of trauma and drama that we're dealing with. And so when you see that in other people, you see it in yourself. You're not perfect. You wasn't perfect as a kid. When everybody said you were bad. When everybody said you was mischievous. When everybody said you had the devil in you. When everybody said you were demonic and cursed. The truth is, you've gone through all that you've gone through. Everything for a reason. All of that was part of your story. So that you could take your story and help other people. So that you could take your story and encourage and inspire and uplift other people. So as you share your story and you become transparent with other people and they're able to see, man, you were fucked up. Man, you had some issues. Man, you did some crazy ass shit. Man, okay, that gives me hope. Man, that's so encouraging to me. I thought you were so perfect. I thought you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I thought you was born with it because you don't look like you've been through that. You don't act like you've been through that. You ain't twisted and messed up like that. And so, man, I would have never thought you'd gone through all of that. Man, I can get my life together. Man, I didn't make all the mistakes you made. I didn't hurt all the people you did. Man. So I can forgive me. I can forgive me. Because you learned how to forgive you. I can learn how to let go of the shame and the embarrassment of trying to commit suicide. I can let go of the shame and the embarrassment of being divorced, of being a single parent, of being poor, of having to steal in order to have something to eat. I can let go of that shame. I remember one time, and as I come to bring this to a close, it's probably like 96. Single parent, my two babies, man, we're struggling. I was struggling rough. And just financially messed up. And I went down to Compton to the office, welfare office, try to get some assistance. And I sat there for like 3 hours. I'm the only guy in the whole welfare office. And I had my kids, they were in school, and my daughter was in school, my son was in daycare. And man, I'm sitting there waiting for these people to call me up so I could fill out this paperwork so I could get some assistance. Because their mom was fucking useless to me. She didn't do shit for them or nobody. You know what I mean? She was just a deadbeat mom. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting there and I fill out all the paperwork, take it up to them, and they tell me that I don't qualify for anything. All that I qualified was for a WIC. And that broke my heart because I sat there for 3 hours and I'm needing some fucking help. And the shit that they want to give me wasn't really no fucking help. And so I go to this place in the military called Air Force Aid. And I'm sitting there with this elderly lady, and I'm filling out the paperwork, man. I'm asking for like this loan. Just give me a loan. Just get me off my feet. Let me get a couple things paid off, and I'll be okay. And I'm filling out the paperwork because I'm struggling. I'm going through it. To the point to where, man, I went from being 240 pounds down to less than 150 pounds in less than 3 months. Say it again. I went from being 240 pounds solid muscle to less than 150 pounds by the end of that summer because I wasn't eating, because I didn't have the food. I didn't have the money. And so whatever I would eat, I would give that, put that in the refrigerator, and I would save it for my kids so they could eat it for leftovers the next day. I'm washing clothes in the bathtub, hanging them throughout the house, putting on a fan and letting them air dry, and open up the windows and all that just to let them air dry, just so that the kids and I would have clean clothes, because I couldn't even afford to go to the laundromat. I'm broke. So I'm sitting there trying to ask this lady for some help. So I write down all my bills and all the stuff that where I'm spending my money. And I'm the type of person, I don't believe in asking for help. See, because I grew up in a household where I was always told and made to feel like I was an inconvenience. Nobody was glad that I was there. Everybody said, I can't wait till you get grown. I can't wait till you get out, till you move away. And so I always felt like I was an inconvenience. So I never wanted to be that weak link. I never wanted to be a burden to anybody. And so I'm asking this lady in Air Force Aid for some financial help. So she's looking at my paperwork that I filled out, and I'm giving the church 10% of my tithes and part of my offering. Or offering, you know what I mean? I'm going to church every Sunday, every Wednesday for Bible study. And man, I'm struggling. And this lady looks at the paperwork, and she looks at me. And she looks at the paperwork, and she looks at me. And when she looked at me for the third time, I realized how fucked up I was. And I sat there in this lady's office, and I just started crying, and it was just years of just pent up frustration and shame and embarrassment. Because I'm asking this lady for some help so I could feed my babies. I'm asking this lady for some help. See, in my mind, I thought about giving them to the system so many times. I thought about just giving them to the welfare office, just signing over the paperwork, man, just giving up my custody of my rights to them and just putting them in the system. That thought went through my mind so many times. Because in my mind, they would be better without me. My babies deserve more than what I could give them. And so I wanted them to go into the system. Because I thought I was so fucked up that I couldn't take care of them. I didn't even deserve them. I didn't deserve them. So I'm sitting there and I'm asking this lady for help. And I'm shaking, I'm crying so hard. She gets up and she's surprised. She closes her door and she comes and she puts her arm on my shoulder. And when she puts her arm on my shoulder, it's the floodgate. I'm just broke and I just start boo-hooing louder. Embarrassed. Ashamed. I didn't even have family that could help me. Shamed. Embarrassed. Mad. Angry. And so I share that with you. It don't matter what you're going through. Don't give up. It don't matter what you've gone through. Don't give up. You got this. You got this. I'm proof. If you don't remember nothing, just remember this bald-headed black guy told you, man, he had a fucked up childhood. He had a fucked up life. And he made it out. And if he can make it out, then you can make it out. You can make it out. You have to understand that you're lovable, that you deserve love, that you deserve to be happy. But until you start thinking that about you, it don't matter what other people say. It don't matter what other people do. You have to learn to understand that you are never going to be perfect. And that you're lovable. You're lovable. It really wasn't about you. It was about you, but it wasn't about you. And I say the same. It's all about you until it ain't about you. Said again, it's all about you until it ain't about you. And what that saying was that, man, it's about you because you got to learn and grow from it. So everything you've gone through, you got to learn and grow from it. It's about you. Then it becomes not about you. Because now you take that knowledge and wisdom to be a beacon of hope and love, to inspire and encourage and show other people their way out of their darkness, their way out of their chaos, their way out of their depression, out of their brokenness, out of their suicidal thoughts, out of their self-hatred. So it's about you until it ain't about you. Man. So, question, do I still have the Academy? It's a nonprofit organization. I haven't activated it here. It was a organization I worked with in California. I would love to get it started up here where I'm at. There's so many other things that I've been working on. So I haven't done anything with it. I still have the YouTube, this YouTube page is that. You know what I mean? It's for Life Changing Results Academy. From that, man, we have a mentoring program and life coaching program. You know what I mean? We have a program on the weekends where we help young women or just women. It's called Whole. We're healing our ladies emotionally, and it's a small group where we're talking and helping other women how to heal and move beyond their trauma and their suffering. We have a men's program that's on the weekend called Home, healing our men emotionally. And all of these things are a stem from Life Changing Results Academy. They're all up under that Life Changing Results Academy umbrella because everything is life-changing results. And that's what this whole page is about, this YouTube platform. That's what it's about, life-changing results. And that's all we talk about, is how to change your life in a positive, loving, compassionate way. How to change the world in a loving, compassionate way. It starts with us. We have to fix and heal us. And then we have to heal the world. We have to create in the world a safe environment for others to feel comfortable, to where they open up and start sharing their pain and their suffering so that they can begin the process of healing and moving forward. Man, family, thank you for being with us. Man, again, we'll continue this series on on self-love. Today we talked about shame and forgiving self. The next video that we'll have coming out, the next major video, I believe that's going to be Tuesday morning, and that's going to be on healthy boundaries. And then on Wednesday we'll finish it off with moving forward. Man, what's up with you, April? Man, family, with that being said, man, come check us out Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, we're going to have a rough one. Again, the thing that we have for Saturday is talking about being crushed by God, being crushed by God. And the truth is, man, so many of us feel like we've been crushed by God. We feel like the world has just fucked us up. We feel like life has just dogged us the fuck out. Our family, our friends, our loved ones, man, we've been fucked over. And that's what we're going to talk about on Saturday. That being said, man, if you're interested in a coaching session or a mentoring session, man, don't hesitate to reach out to me at elijahami@gmail.com. If you're interested in joining the small women's group or the small men's group, man, shoot us an email. I believe my wife has put the emails up there. We're healing our ladies emotionally, and home, healing our men emotionally. Man, that being said, man, family, my beautiful queen and I, we thank you guys for choosing us. We thank you guys for being a part of this tribe. We thank you guys for just spending your energy and your time with us. Namaste. The God in me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the God in each and every one of you. We love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.